Hi everyone, we're going to be talking about the 95% confidence interval. The 95% confidence interval is the range of upper and lower values that fall within the 95% interval or 2 standard deviations away from the mean. What this is saying is that it's asking for the minimum and maximum values, so min and max, which is our interval or our range within the 95% interval or 2 standard deviations. So if this is our mean here, it's asking what goes here and what goes here, because this is 2 standard deviations, meaning -2, and this is also 2 standard deviations plus 2. So it's asking for here and for here. So x and y. Now, if it doesn't fall within this interval, it's going to be unusual, but it's going to be normal if it does fall in the range. So now let's do a practice problem. A sample of 30 randomly selected oranges was taken from a large population, and the diameters were measured. The mean diameter of the sample was 91 millimeters, and the standard deviation was 8 millimeters. Calculate the 95% confidence interval for the mean diameter of the whole population of oranges. So let's do part 1 first. So it's asking for the 95% confidence interval. So we know that our mean is 91, and our standard deviation is 8. But now it's asking for 95%. And if 95% represents 2 standard deviations, we're going to double our regular standard deviation. So again, 95% is the same thing as 2 standard deviations. And if 1 standard deviation is simply 8, if we have 2 standard deviations, we're going to double that. So it's going to be 2 times 8. That's going to be either added or subtracted from the mean. So we're going to do 91 plus 2 times 8, and we're going to do 91 minus 2 times 8. And we're going to get 107 for our maximum and 75 for our minimum, meaning that our 95% confidence interval is 75, 107. Now let's do part 2. If you buy an orange that has a diameter of 105 millimeters, is the diameter unusual based on the 95% confidence interval? Well, let's see. It has to fall between 75 and 107. So it can't be less than 75, but it also can't be more than 107. Well, 105 falls before 107, but also ahead of 75. Therefore, it does fall in the range, making it normal. Therefore, it's not unusual. So we're going to say that it's not unusual because 105 millimeters falls in the 95% confidence interval. Now let's do a second problem. The times of 8 runners in a randomly selected heat of the 100-meter sprint in the Olympic Games had a mean time of 9.84 seconds and a standard deviation of 0.08 seconds. Calculate the 95% confidence interval for the mean time of all 100 meters runners at the Olympic Games to the nearest 2 decimal places. So again, let's do part 1. So it tells us that our mean is 9.84 and our standard deviation is 0.08. So we're going to do the same exact thing. Since it's asking for 95%, that is 2 standard deviations. So we're going to be doing 9.84 plus minus double our regular standard deviation to find our 95% confidence interval. So we're going to do 9.84 plus 2 times 0.08 and 9.84 minus 2 times 0.08. And we're going to get 10 for our max and 9.68 for our minimum. Therefore, our 95% confidence interval, our range, is 9.68 and 10. Now let's do part 2. A runner completed the 100-meter sprint in 9.4 seconds. Is their time unusual based on the 95% confidence interval? Well, let's look at it again. Our range is from 9.68 to 10. 9.4 does not fall in this range because 9.4 is actually less than 9.68. So it falls somewhere way outside here. Therefore, it is unusual because it does not fall in the 95% confidence interval.